We're ticking down to the final moments. Shoreline City trying to put something together. Aldoni Mendez, he's shielding off Hasevic's toe poke, finds the back of the net. Shoreline's up by 1 with a minute to play.
Wow, Aldoni Mendez just showing his intelligence to shield the ball, to not let Hasevic come through, and just to prevent, I mean, Hasevic is pulling at him, just prevent any.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Mackenzie plays it in. Gets it right back to Ramsey Terminini. Weisenhunt's across. Whoa! Hold up! Ramsey Terminini from the circle.
And just like that, Jenga is back in this match. What a shot from Terminini from deep.
My.
Unbelievable. He unleashes just power.
Placement to the upper 90 back post, and the lead is ultimately asking the question, like, was this the best match of futsal on U.S. soil? From a perspective of an entire 40 minutes of futsal, 2 teams that are playing really good futsal. It's back and forth, but not because it's chaotic.
The intensity just kept increasing.
Yeah.
And it started at kickoff.
Very little drop-off or mistake, and they just keep playing that really good futsal. This is what it's supposed to look like right here. There's no doubt that the environment, it's a part of what makes the game what it is. But I think like this is a game that if you took all that away and you just watched the game, it would be amazing still.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
They're currently down 2. Here's Hindich at the near post. She slots it in. What a placement.
Yeah, fantastic.
From number 9,
placement.
Medina Hindich. So take another look.
That's what,
wow.
You know, Ole has to be frustrated with the goalkeeping.
I was pleasantly surprised with how we did. I feel like we did compete to the level that we could. I think you could definitely tell like our lack of experience. I think some of our goals were generally just some mistakes, and I think it's like a combination of nerves and just not, having the experience playing at the pace that we were playing. It's really fast, and I think if we tighten that up, like we could have, stayed.
Yeah.
Really there with them, which is cool. I think for our first game, especially going against a team like Ole, I was really proud of the way we played.
Yeah.
made a fantastic play. You know, you want to make that pass to the back foot and really give your teammate an opportunity just to slide it home first time, but Aldama was not able to handle it.
Midwest are able to work it up. How about this back post? A pretty goal. Raul Montañez doubles the lead.
Look, Aldama could not handle the pass to put it away himself, so he said, you know what, Montañez, I'm going to give it back to you, Raul. With a little back heel flick, just roll over, give it back to him. Montañez.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
The attack.
Kleppel now with it. Space inside. Shot. He finds the back of the net. Lansing City up by 1.
We haven't said it yet this season, but what a rocket from Jeremy Kleppel. Across.
Lyle turning his back, trying to get in front of it and also protect himself as Kleppel finds the side net and gives Lansing.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Nice run out of here at Lansing City. Oh, excellent play. Lansing City with a goal. We were just talking about Ole's ability to make the extra pass, and wouldn't you know it, Lansing City does the same exact thing.
Like, if I'm a fan of Midwest and I watch that game, and we have what I would be, in my opinion, one of the best keepers in the league. And he's not playing the second half.
And to Marco, what we saw, he gave up 6 goals. You know, Lucario was in there for 20 minutes. First half, didn't give up any. And so, that's a huge disparity.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
Sliding tackle, and if Montez saved that, outstanding effort as well.
Lansing City in the attack, moving it. Blanco, did he make it? He did, says the referee. Goal number 4 for Lansing City. They pull ahead.
It was a pass to Blanco.
Yeah, Blanco
got
touched
it.
Yeah, Blanco touched it. Did you hear me say Blanco puts it away? That's all right. It hit the inside back post. I just have to mention before we move on here, that game was so amazing. You know how many players under the age of 20 were part of it?
A lot.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of them.
Ethan Castaneda, there's been times where something that he does in the game is exposed, or mistakes and things like that, he was amazing in this game. Last week against Jinga he was, and in this game he played really well, and I think the things that Lansing City have been investing in are starting to pay off. Gomez putting heavy pressure on. And here he is. He finishes. Olay go up by 1.
And when you think about the addition of Daniel De Leon and what he means to this team, we told you that he was the assist leader last season. The goal. Outstanding effort from De Leon to create that. Really good positioning and understanding.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
We're ticking down to the final moments. Shoreline City trying to put something together. Aldoni Mendez, he's shielding off Hasevic's toe poke, finds the back of the net. Shoreline's up by 1 with a minute to play.
Wow, Aldoni Mendez just showing his intelligence to shield the ball, to not let Hasevic come through, and just to prevent, I mean, Hasevic is pulling at him, just prevent any.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
McKenzie plays it in, gets it right back to Ramsey Terminini. Weisenhunt's across. Whoa! Hold up! Ramsey Terminini from the circle.
And just like that, Jinga is back in this match. What a shot from Terminini from deep.
My.
Unbelievable. He unleashes just power.
Placement to the upper 90 back post, and the lead is ultimately asking the question, like, was this the best match of futsal on U.S. soil? From a perspective of an entire 40 minutes of futsal, 2 teams that are playing really good futsal. It's back and forth, but not because it's chaotic.
The intensity just kept increasing.
Yeah.
And it started at kickoff.
Very little drop-off or mistake, and they just keep playing that really good futsal. This is what it's supposed to look like right here. There's no doubt that the environment, it's a part of what makes the game what it is. But I think, like, this is a game that if you took all that away and you just watched the game, it would be amazing still.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
there were 3 red cards in that game. 3 red cards.
You could see it on their faces, like they would hit the post again, and they'd be like, "What is happening?"
And they only gave up 4 goals?
But it wasn't
In
competitive.
40 minutes?
It wasn't competitive.
4 goals!
A sign that a fan has made, a fan of Calgary Futsal made it. Chicago House is grabbing the sign, holding it up, and they're passing it around.
The ball sticks to his feet. Like, I don't think that you should have seen him at practice last night. He was just toying with us. I ain't gonna lie.
What level of crazy do you need to be a goalkeeper in futsal?
11. 11. No one woke up one day and said, I want to be a keeper today. I didn't want to be a goalie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Third Half podcast on this amazing Thursday night in February. What is it, the 12th? February 12th. Right on the money. I'm Jared Kleppel, your host tonight. This podcast is brought to you by Jolt Creativity. Destroy the lie that says I am not creative. We have some awesome things to talk about tonight. Some very important games coming up, exciting games that just happened. Innovation got their first win, which is super exciting. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Playoff picture is starting to come more into view. No one is fully eliminated yet, but this weekend will probably have a lot to do with what the real chances are. And those at the bottom of the table right now hanging by a thread, but the thread is there. The thread is there. So we'll talk more about that coming up. We don't have that much longer in the season, just about, I think it's less than a month of regular season play left, like 3, maybe 4 weekends of regular season play, and then it's going to be time for the playoffs. So we are getting down into it. I am so excited. And to start off the show, I get to welcome on a special guest from Akron following Innovation City's first win last Sunday. It was Sunday, not Saturday. At home, their final home game, they're able to break through and get a win, and that was awesome to see. And tonight I get to bring on all the way from originally Bolivia, originally, but now has come into the FCS playing for Innovation City. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the show Fabio Hinojosa. Fabio, thank you so much for jumping on the show tonight.
No, thank you for inviting me. And yeah, thank you for having me here and have this experience.
Yeah, well, I'm so pumped to have you on the show, get to know you a little bit. Got to chat with Fabio a little bit before we came on camera. He's got a really interesting story, some really cool things, and I bet there's more to discover because we didn't even really get to futsal when we were before we came on air, which was awesome. So if you guys have any questions for Fabio, put them in the chat, and we will get to those later. But one of the biggest things, Fabio, is you guys were able to break through and get your first win. I want to talk about that later. First, I want to get to know who you are and let the fans get to know who you are too. So tell us a little bit about you, how you got here, how you got to futsal. You're originally from Bolivia, so how did you come to the States? Let's make that the first question.
So I was like my senior year of high school, and I was like, I want to really study and play. I was playing soccer at the time, and I really wanted to do both things at the same time. And in Bolivia, you kind of don't have that opportunity. So I was like, the U.S. offers that. They give you like college, they're the college teams, and you can play like big tournaments. And I was like, you know what, that's my shot. So I decided to give it a shot. I came here to the U.S. like around 6 years ago, and I played soccer. Due to an injury, I stopped, and somehow I ended up playing futsal in a completely different league. So, yeah, that's how life put me in this place. So
yeah. Well, let's even go back a little bit further. Where did your interest in soccer, futsal, athletics, where did that begin for you?
Well, my family's been very athletic all over. My parents were volleyball players, pro players.
Wow.
So I've started with soccer very young, with volleyball at the same time. And then I really wanted to focus on volleyball, on soccer, sorry. And then in school we had a team where we had a coach that had like he was like the coach of the like a city next to us. He was the main coach for that futsal team. So he invited us to play with that team for out of nowhere for like a national tournament. Like it was a U10th tournament. It was one of the biggest tournaments out of nowhere. We never played futsal, and he was like, "We need people. Please come to play with us." So we're like, "Yeah, hell yeah! Like we can do it." We were like, I was like 9, and out of nowhere, with like a month of practice, we were in like this huge national tournament, like a
Wow.
ton of people watching. Yeah, and that was my first experience of futsal. And I gotta say, I think I like futsal a little more than soccer, maybe because of that experience. But it's just I love the pace. I love the creativity of the player, the dribbling, and everything.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I know probably a ton of people that are in the chat are really excited to hear that, because that's kind of one of the things that's going on, especially in the U.S., is like growing futsal and like, soccer and futsal. And, sometimes they compete with each other for your time and attention. And
Yeah.
anyone who's like big futsal fan is always like, go futsal, So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's really cool. So you started first time playing futsal basically in this tournament when you were 9, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Wow. Okay. And then did you continue to play futsal like through, your youth years?
Yes. So what was amazing about that tournament, it was that like it kind of showed us that we can play futsal too, especially at my school. So then we got another coach for soccer that was a coach for a futsal team. It was the only pro futsal team in my city, and he was a coach of that. And he had like his whole academy, a club, and everything. So while he was coaching us at school, he would like put us in tournaments for futsal, and that's where us like it was like we were the school team, but we weren't playing in like inter school tournaments. We were playing
Okay.
outside of school, but representing the school. And then yeah, we started playing like little leagues, the association, which went through like throughout the whole year. Then we played like inter-school tournaments. Those were super fun. I would get so nervous because all the girls were watching, like all my like classmates,
Yeah.
girls, everything. Yeah,
Wow.
like I played it. I played in like a huge stadiums, but those ones, oh, man, when like the girls were watching, were like, oh man, the pressure's on.
Wow. When you say like huge stadiums, is that for futsal?
I played soccer in huge
Soccer in
stadiums.
big
Yeah,
stadiums?
yeah, yeah. We
Well, what
went
was
to
like
nationals.
yeah, what was like a crowd capacity at one of those?
So we played in that in like the pro stadium. I think the
Wow.
capacity is like around 20,000, 25,000. I'm not
Wow.
sure. It wasn't full. It
Yeah.
was like the national like in Bolivia the way that nationals and the tournaments go is a little different, but it's a phase before nationals to qualify for nationals. We were playing the final, and it was like in the stadium, pro stadium, where like the pro teams
Wow.
played. And then a ton of schools were invited, so there was like a lot of like kids
Yeah.
cheering up, and
That's
then like our
awesome.
families and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
But the pressure increased when it was your peers, especially the women around.
yeah, my peers, mostly like my school, like my classmates. Like it's like you'll see them every day, and they're like watching you, so you want to impress them. And then it's also like the girls of the class, the girls from other schools, and then they're all watching because it's kind of like a social event over there too.
Wow.
Like people just go there to just be with friends and watch some like futsal.
Yeah. Okay. So you started out around 9 years old, and you kept playing kind of through, like your high school years, and
Yes.
then so all the way up until when you came to the States, you were playing futsal in Bolivia.
Yeah, I remember around the last time I played like a little bit serious futsal was right about around COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was COVID, before COVID. Um, and I remember my coach from my school. I told him like I wanted to get extra hours in like training, and he invited me to play with his team, and that's where I played the most. I feel like the highest level of futsal, but I
Okay.
never played. I was just practice, never like actual playing in like tournaments or anything like
Yeah.
that.
This question is, it might like jump ahead a little bit, but because we're talking about your experience of futsal in Bolivia, it makes me wonder, what is the futsal experience like in Bolivia compared to what you have been a part of here in the States?
All right. To put a perspective is like, you know how like many courts are like here for basketball. Like
Yeah.
every corner you go, there's a basketball court, right?
Yeah.
Over there in Bolivia is the same thing, but for futsal. Like you
Wow.
see every other corner, like a futsal court. They're like the cement ones, like the ones that like are like out there, outdoors, indoors, everything. So yeah, you can play almost any time. Even I lived in like an area that had like a little court, like field, and yeah, we played there, like just shooting with friends, with family. Yeah. So
Wow.
the scene is very different there. There's a lot
Yeah.
of futsal. But yeah.
That's really cool. It makes me think of one of the, particularly with youth futsal, you were playing kind of during the youth times, and FCS is doing a youth league now and futures, and one of the most important things was this idea of playing on like full size courts. What kind of courts do you guys play on in the youth? Is it a full size? Is it smaller? What is it like? What's your experience like there?
It was mostly what was available.
Yeah.
We played in like normal courts, the normal sized ones.
Okay.
I don't remember ever playing in the smaller courts. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was just something that I was just kind of curious about, like what I know availability of playing surfaces is like a big deal, and it's one of the reasons why in America there's kind of an effort now to try to play an international sized court so that we're preparing to play at higher levels. So I was just curious what that was like, if the futsal courts on every corner were like international size, if they're like in the high school gyms, if they're a little bit smaller, like comparable to like maybe like a basketball gym. So you guys have like gyms of like for futsal instead of basketball, and were the gyms like kind of similar in size to what you might see on like a basketball court?
Yeah, very similar. Like they were mixed with basketball and futsal.
Okay.
But like they had like this goals that were like metal posts.
Yeah.
And then like the metal on the back to like the metal netting on the back.
Okay.
And then attached to it, they had the basketball rings. But I swear I've never seen anyone play basketball in those fields. It was always futsal. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love it. So that brings you to the time when you came from Bolivia to the States.
Yes.
You said it was because you wanted to do both. You wanted to be able to study, and you wanted to be able to also play. So what was that like for you? Where did you end up, and what was that experience like for you?
So I work with an agency, and they got me in contact with a coach in upstate New York, in Mohawk Valley. I played a Division III junior college, so I was in a community college there. I played soccer over there for 2 years after I graduated. And then after I graduated, I had an injury in my back. So I kind of stopped playing for like a year or two soccer at all, like any type of soccer, futsal, soccer, anything. And then when I came to Cleveland after upstate New York, there was a soccer club and a futsal club. I joined the soccer club. I didn't enjoy it as much, and then the futsal club, like all my friends were there, so we just started going there. It was like every Friday, and yeah, I somehow ended up being the coach of that club. So that's how I got in touch with like innovation in FCS. Yeah, I was coaching them a little bit of futsal tactics, just how to play futsal, and that's how I came back to futsal.
Was that did you say that was at Cleveland State?
Yeah, Cleveland State.
Okay, gotcha. So were you a part of the Cleveland State team that played in the tour in the summer?
So I was the contact point, basically. Like they called me and I put up the team. And then they just went. I was currently injured at the moment
Okay.
with my back, and I just couldn't play. But yeah, it's something like we were practicing. I remember it was so frustrating because we couldn't find other teams to play with. I
Oh.
remember OSU was the other school that had a team. They had like 3 teams, but like both times we won like 10-0 and
Oh
12-0,
wow.
you know? Yeah. So then FCS reached out and I was like, yeah, we gotta go. Like, no, like we're doing everything we can so we can go, so we can play more futsal. And
Yeah.
it's also to get like them to understand like a higher level of futsal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great experience.
That's awesome. So that team that was from CSU that went to the tour, that was a team that you were involved with and you were coaching a lot.
Yes.
That's awesome. Really
Mhm.
cool. So you mentioned before we came on air what you went to school for. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I went to school for computer science. I graduated with computer science. And yeah, after graduation, it was really hard to find jobs. The market is horrible for computer science. You can see all the memes about it. It's really funny. So I decided to start my own company, and that's what I'm doing right now.
That's amazing. That is so cool. I know that that's a really difficult thing. And how
Yes.
long you've been doing that for?
We just started. It's me and an associate, and it's been like 6, 7 months that I've been doing this.
Wow. That's really cool. What has been the most challenging part of starting your own business?
Starting it, it's just so scared. Yeah, scary, because yeah, you hear all your friends. They're like, "Yeah, I got the salary. I got this money. They're working. They're doing like so much more high level stuff." And I don't know where you're there starting, and you have like a file of like possible clients that you can like reach out to, and you're not making any money too. So it's like that's the hardest part. But I feel like just trusting the process and trusting yourself. Is what gets you to start these things, and that's what I did. That's what we did, and yeah, it's going a lot better now. I feel like the hardest part is yet to come though, because it's like we're just now realizing we don't have enough time to do a lot of this stuff, so it's like a lot of like late nights and working
Wow.
extra hours. Yeah.
Wow. What has been like what have you enjoyed the most about it?
um I
Or
could
has that
say
not
that
come yet? Is the enjoyment not come yet?
it's coming. Like I feel like it's just the I feel like what I enjoy. I love what I do, so I
Wow, that's
just
great.
love doing something that I can show or help other people with. Especially with coding, it's just like making software for other people to either help them and make them be better as a company or like any type of thing. And I love that. And I love that, like to showcase my skills kind of by doing that, and then letting them know that it's like I can do this and help you this much, and we can work together, and it's great, and like just having that interaction, I love that.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Well, you've got a lot of support in the chat. I know you can't see the chat on your screen, but you got teammates in here, coaches, looks like possibly family as well. The chat's full of it right now. So everyone is very supportive of you right now. By the way, if you on the chat, if you have a question for Fabio, feel free to put it in, and we might have some time for those later on. So we are getting closer and closer to where we are talking about your current experience right now with innovation in futsal. So let's make that link. Take me from where you kind of ended off right now, graduated, you're doing your own business, you were coaching at the CSU club futsal, I think. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're coaching there, and then that kind of led you into the connection with innovation. Tell me about how that happened.
Okay, so I was coaching futsal. We were in summer. I think it was close to summer, right? The tournament, the
Yeah, the
first one,
tour. Yeah, it was
the
June
tour.
maybe or July. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
So a lot of our students actually left, and I received this call, and this guy is like, "Yeah, we're making a tournament, futsal. It's like huge, three cameras, commentaries." I'm like, dude, like we're all in, you know. And so I reach out to like all the players in the CSU. We get like a head count, and then I didn't go, but they went. They played really well, and after that, Brandon, our actual the owner of the Club of Innovation, reached out to me after this tour, and he was like, "Hey, we're like the tour was for a season, and then we want to like complete the team, and we saw some players that have the potential to like join the team." And I was like, "That sounds like really cool. I really want to join this. I really want to be part of like a tournament that has this much production, that has traveling, everything." So I gathered some of the guys that wanted to participate too, and then we all went. It was like 4 of us that went to do like a tryout, and yeah, then after that I've been just going to practices ever since. We made a team, and I'm part of it. So super happy to be part of it.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So you jump in to the brand new club that Brandon starts, and it's a tough go at it, right? At least from the standings wise, you know, you started your own business, so you have an understanding of what it's like to start something, right? Like it's not
Yes.
easy, and it's probably further not easy when things are not going your direction on the standings and the score sheet, and you can't hide from it, right? Because the cameras are there, the standings are there, So it's like you go through this tough time before you guys were able to get your first win. So before we get to that moment this past weekend when you got that first win, tell me what it was like going through that time when you guys started out 0-6.
Well, from the beginning, I feel like a lot of our players are soccer players, and that's kind of how the team like got funded, because a lot of them were the soccer players that wanted to be part of like futsal tournament, right? And it's something that a lot of people understand, that futsal is very, very different to football, right? These are amazing players. Like all of these players that like my teammates are really, really good players, right? But translating soccer to futsal is very difficult. It's very, very difficult, especially because it's not the same sport. I would say even it's a completely different sport. The only thing similar is that you're using your feet, right? The tactics, the pace, the rules, everything is very different. So I feel that's where we were trying to focus more on our practices. We could see that we were playing well. Like all of us have like good control. We have good dribbling, shooting. Everything's there, right? But when it gets to playing the actual futsal game, the tactics is where we're like missing a little. So I feel like our first couple weeks was that of realizing how our team is placed in like in the field, in the court, and not being able to realize how different it is from soccer. So I feel like that's our like main starting point. We're like, okay, we're starting here. We're playing against these teams that have been playing futsal for so long, and they're moving really fast. Like we cannot catch them on defense, right? So we started working a lot on our defense. Okay, now we have like a better defense now, but we can like our attacking now is not that great, and we cannot defend all match. So it's just that like getting to get used to the pace and like the tactics of futsal.
Yeah, going through that process, which I know that there's a lot of people playing futsal in America go through that process. There's not a lot of people that grow up playing futsal. It's really cool when I think who was I talking with? Maybe it was Alex Mendez of Shoreline, someone like that. But he was talking about how he started playing when he was, it's like 5 or 6, like somewhere around when you were, and it's like that is so rare in the States, and it's more often like the situation you guys are in where you're pulling players from soccer and you have to learn, and like you said, totally different game. I agree, like the concept obviously is the same. You got the ball, you got the net, but it's like, if you are a soccer player stepping onto a futsal court and you're like, oh, like I got this. And then it's like, uh-oh.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even heard soccer players say like I have a couple friends that were like very into soccer, and they say, yeah, I hate playing futsal because every time I play, I look really bad. Like I'm not good at it because like the ball is moving extremely fast. The
Yeah.
dribbling is super fast, and they make me look foolish. So I don't want to play it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, like honestly, I think one of the great things about futsal is how much you can't hide from things, right? You're always under pressure and you're always under a microscope. You know, there's only 5 players on your team on the court at once, only 10 total, on the court at once, and the game is going so fast. It's not like in outdoor where you can go hide on the wing somewhere or whatever. It's like if you and tell me a little bit about that. Like for you, what was it like for you? Because you probably faced that very early on because you got to play futsal early on. So what was it like for you, kind of overcoming that, where it's like, okay, I'm always under pressure, and I have to learn how to deal with it, and I have to learn how to be brave. What was that like for you?
Do you mean like at the beginning of like when I started playing futsal?
Yeah, because I assume that if you kind of got into futsal after soccer at one point, you probably faced that where it's like,
Yes.
okay, you kind of hit that transition, and so what was that moment like for you, when you were younger, growing into the game of futsal?
I feel like it was the first time like we were playing against this like really like experienced teams. When I was 9, I remember we got second to last. Actually, very proud of the second to last because we won the last game.
There we
most
go.
intense game ever.
There we go.
I feel like it was like I remember going into the field and feeling so slow. Like I remember people taking the ball away from me so fast.
Wow.
Controlling the ball, thinking to pass. It was already too late. I would get the ball away, and then having them like shooting from anywhere and it could be a goal. It's also like the pressure has to be so tight.
Wow.
Because I remember, like in soccer, you walk a lot, right? So when I was defending, I would give them a lot of space because I was like, okay, he's gonna turn, he's gonna see what he's gonna do, and then I'm gonna go, right? So he gets the ball, he turns, shoots, and it's a goal. And I'm like, not even close to him.
Wait a minute, so they skipped 2, 3, and 4. What happened to those steps?
Exactly. and yeah, that was like, whoa, like this game is completely different.
Yeah.
I remember me working a lot on my footwork, both feet, because futsal, if you don't have a lefty, it's like it's very bad.
Yeah.
So I remember working a lot of more stepping on the ball and like moving the ball faster with both my feet, and that helping a lot. But still, it was just it was brutal.
Yeah, but now you're able to have that experience, which helps you a lot, and I think we've seen it help you on this innovation team. Let's actually move into this most recent game that you guys just played. You're able to get your first win, 8-5 over Jinga at home. Getting that first victory. What was different for you guys in this game?
I feel like our past games we've been like trying to figure out defense. So the game before this was actually, I think, our worst loss in like difference of goals, and I think is because we were trying something new in defense. We're trying to boxing a little more, having to have format, and we haven't like we don't train enough to just out of like next week be good at it, right? So we train like as much as we can in our practice, and then in the game it's like, okay, we did this, let's try it. And yeah, I feel like that game was like we didn't know where we were standing. We were like even crossing paths with other players, and that was a big issue. And I feel like coming to this game, we're like, okay, we know what went wrong, so now we know kind of how to fix it. So now we were pressuring a lot more. The defense was a lot more stable because we could understand each other a lot more. Just like following a mark, blocking the passes, and all those things. Even Jake George helped us a lot with that, explaining that a little. And yeah, we focused on that, and it worked. I think that we were very consistent in our defending, and when we had our chances to attack, we attacked and we scored, and it was perfect. We also had the advantage that the other team was extremely hard on us. So there was like so many fouls, and then we
Yeah.
had like a couple penalties, and that helped a lot. But I feel like we're understanding each other as a team a lot more too.
Wow, that's awesome. What was it like for you guys to finish that game and to get that first win? What was the experience like for you all?
Before the game ended, it was very like it was a little suspenseful match because we were like 5-2 first half, and out of nowhere second half 5-4. You know, we're like, okay, they're getting too close. No, this cannot happen. You know, and then we started scoring more goals, and then we had like a bigger difference, and then it felt really good. Like it felt like we were finally doing something good after some work, that after some like details polishing and practicing this and all these things. It felt like it's finally clicking together a little better, and that we're not like just gonna be like lose all games and be like the worst team ever. You know, we're actually an evolving team. So this win gave us that we're an evolving team.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. What do you feel like this win does to your guys' confidence and how you see the rest of the year?
I feel like the confidence is going to be a really good part of it. I feel like the next games we're going to enter with a lot more confidence for sure, and also this gives us a better like taste of what winning is. So we're gonna want to like seek for it a lot more. So we are like even our last practice was a lot different, for example, because we're like, okay, we can win games. It's not like an impossible thing.
Yeah.
So let's go try to do that more often. So we're practicing and then understanding each other a lot more now in practices, and just I feel like that this win is huge for us.
Yeah. Well, let's actually take a look at what you guys have coming up. Your next one is this Saturday against Chicago. So 3 games left, and 2 of them are away against Olay and away against Lansing, 2 teams that have been playing very well. Olay, of course, they haven't lost in the FCS actually since entering it last year. And Lansing, they're at 4-4, but they just gave Olay another good fight. They've been looking very good and at times not looking as good. So a couple of tough ones on the road there. And this weekend, you guys face Chicago House at their place. What do you think it's going to take for you guys to go to Chicago and come away with a consecutive victory?
I think it's going to be a lot of us. We're just focused. We just gotta. We've been practicing some tactics lately that we just gotta put in play, and don't get crazy with playmaking and anything like that. Just play what we know and enjoy the game mostly, right? And I think if we do that, if we keep going with the tactics that we're learning and like focus, I feel like focus is going to be our main strategy now. Just be smart about the plays, don't risk it, and if we do that, we play it very focused. I feel like it's going to be a good match.
What do you feel like you've learned about this Chicago House team that you guys have to be aware of to put a stop?
I feel like you're asking the wrong person. I haven't seen too much of Chicago.
Okay, gotcha.
I feel like I have been focusing more on ourselves more than focusing more on the other team.
Yeah.
For now, there's a lot of things that we have to fix in our game, and I feel like we don't have enough time to fix our game and even like think about tactics about the other team and then focus on that too. You know,
Yeah.
like, I feel like we're focusing on playing more a cleaner futsal, and I feel like if we do that, we can be a very good team to play against.
Wow, that's really cool. Final question before we go to a break and we continue on with the rest of the show. What has been your favorite experience so far this year playing for Innovation?
I feel like just getting to know a whole group of friends mostly. the guys of the team are great. We have fun practicing, and it's just having all this, all the cameras, the matches. There's like a website showing statistics. It's great, but I feel like the team is what makes this worth it all.
That's awesome. That's really cool to hear. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Fabio Hinojosa of Innovation City. Glad you could join us tonight, Fabio. Any final comments before your portion is done here?
Maybe innovation is coming for everything. We have nothing to lose, so we're going to win. That's what we're going to.
And we will find out this Saturday at 8 p.m. as they take on Chicago House. It's a big one for both sides. Both sides really fighting for any chance at the playoffs. It's still there. The chance is still there for both sides. It's going to be a tough road to get there, but this game is the first step. So that one's going to be this Saturday at 8 p.m. So make sure you don't miss it and check out the clash of these two teams in the FCS. Fabio, thank you so much for joining the show tonight. I really appreciate you. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and on the other side, we're going to be talking about the other games that happened this past weekend, as well as what we have to come this weekend. So don't go anywhere. They're currently down 2. Here's Hindich at the near post. She slots it in. What a placement.
Yeah, fantastic.
From number 9,
placement.
Medina Hindich. So take another look.
That's what,
wow.
Ole has to be frustrated with the goalkeeping.
I was pleasantly surprised with how we did. I feel like we did compete to the level that we could. I think you could definitely tell like our lack of experience. I think some of our goals were generally just some mistakes, and I think it's like a combination of nerves and just not, having experience playing at the pace that we were playing. It's really fast, and I think if we tighten that up, like we could have, stayed.
Yeah.
Really like there with them, which is cool. I think for our first game, especially going against a team like Ole, I was really proud of the way we played.
Yeah.
Made a fantastic play. You want to make that pass to the back foot and really give your teammate an opportunity just to slide it home first time, but Aldama was not able to handle it.
Midwest are able to work it up. How about this back post? A pretty goal. Raul Montañez doubles the lead.
Look, Aldama could not handle the pass to put it away himself, so he said, you know what, Montañez, I'm going to give it back to you, Raul. With a little back heel flick, just roll over, give it back to him. Montañez.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Third Half Podcast. I'm Jared Kleppel, your host tonight. We just had an awesome section with Fabio Hinojosa of Innovation City. If you missed that, go back, check it out. He talked about all his experience playing futsal, growing up in Bolivia, and coming over to the States, and how he got connected with Innovation City, as well as their first win in the FCS regular season, breaking through just this past Sunday, beating Jinga. He talked about all that. So go back, take a look if you missed it. This show is sponsored by Jolt Creativity. Jolt Creativity, destroy the lie that says, I am not creative. Let's go on to what is next. That was what we just talked about. What is next? Interesting things from this weekend. Ole outlasts Lansing City 10-6 at home. Another exciting match between these two teams. It seems like whenever they're playing, it's great futsal and an exciting match. Right there at the bottom, with 2 minutes to go, Barney hits the post, failing to bring City within one goal. Could have been a one-goal match at the 2-minute mark, and instead, it was within probably 30 seconds of that post hit, Ole score again and put the game out of reach at 3. What an exciting one this was for the FCS. There was the things that were interesting to me about this game, other than the fact it was almost a one-goal game with 2 minutes to go. Jack Fisher was a force for Lansing City in this game. There was one goal that he fought through 2 or 3 guys and toe poked it in. Another one came from his defensive effort. So he played a big role for Lansing City. Great effort from him. Love to see that. And then on the other side, I thought David Zavala played particularly well. I don't remember how many times he got on the score sheet, but he seemed to have a pretty big impact for Ole. And of course, when you talk about Ole, you could pick a number of players that have impact. It's really their greatest strength is that they have, literally say it every single time. They have 3 lines that play and their level doesn't drop very much. And so you could point to a lot of those players, but I felt like particularly Zavala had a large impact on the game. Aaron Gomez also had a really nice touch to set up. It might have been that 3rd goal, or maybe it was the goal that put him up by 2 later on, but a ball in from might have been Caesar, it might have been Andres, but he had a really nice touch to Zavala, who took a shot and it took a deflection, and Gomez was able to finish it. So that was a really, really great play from him. Very exciting. Ole improved to, what are they at, 6-0 now? So they're 6-0, still unbeaten in the FCS, have yet to be defeated. They were supposed to have a game this weekend against Midwest United as well, but that one was postponed, so they did not play that one. They have Jinga coming up on the 21st of February, and they also play Imperial. Both of those games are away. And then right now, still waiting on the confirmation of Ole versus Midwest, where that will be rescheduled. But currently, end of their schedule is March 7th, and they host Innovation City on that day. So that's how they will wrap up their year. Really tough at this point to see any other 1 seed in the postseason other than Ole. I think Ole was the favorite from the beginning, but where they're at right now, the teams that they have beaten, and how the schedule kind of falls next for everybody. Really tough to see anyone challenging them at that 1 seed. For Lansing City, this game puts them at 4-4, 12 points at a +8 goal differential. I don't believe they have technically clinched the playoffs. I could be wrong about that, but I think Midwest can still get to 12, and Innovation could still get to 12. So I think they have not technically clinched yet. They will be playing. When do they play next? Lansing City will play. They have Shoreline and Innovation, I think, are their final 2 matches of the year. It's February 21st. They're going to be hosting Innovation City, and then they will be traveling to Shoreline City for their last game of the year. That last weekend, by the way, we're going to talk about this, but February 28th which was originally the last weekend in the regular season, is shaping up to be some really big games and playoff implications in that. And Lansing City will face Shoreline there. So that's what they have coming up. Also, this weekend, we have to talk about it. A wild ending in Detroit. Shoreline take it 7-5 after being down by 1, and I can't remember the timing of it. They scored the go-ahead goal with like under 10 seconds or something along those lines. Crazy ending. There was some streaming issues, so the game was tricky to see kind of the whole thing. But Detroit were without Isale and Unzar, and Depoche also got sent off early in this game. Shoreline was without Alex Mendez, and Detroit had, I think, the 1-goal lead for a fair amount of the second half. I think it was 5-4 up until the very end, and then like 3 goals for Shoreline, something crazy like that in the final seconds. Just an absolute wild ending. So where this puts us in the standings, Shoreline now at 5-1-1 with 16 points. Their grasp on the 2 seed, it's really theirs for the taking, I believe. Imperial right under them at 15 points, but Shoreline have 1 extra game to play. So they are trying to knock on the door there, but this game between them was kind of a big deciding factor as to who is going to be in prime position to take that 2 seed, and now Shoreline find themselves in that position. A few more games still to come for them. They, of course, we mentioned that they played Lansing City, but they are also going to be playing Jinga away and Midwest away. So that's how they round out their final 3 games. I think they'll probably beat Jinga. The Midwest game could get interesting. I mean, this was the first game of the year. Wow. Totally just remember that right now. First game in the year, they tie. What an exciting rematch that will be to see Midwest and Shoreline play for the second to last game in Shoreline's season. So that was a wild ending that happened in Detroit. Now looking forward to this weekend. We talked about Innovation traveling to Chicago, but also on Sunday at 6 p.m. we have Midwest United hosting Detroit Imperial. Now Midwest finished the year hosting 4 straight games, and they're kicking it off with Detroit Imperial at Sunday at 6 p.m. To me, 2 big questions. First is, I think this game determines a lot about what will happen in the next 3 from Midwest. Here's what I'm thinking. So they have 4 games, all at home, and they started out against Detroit, and then they will face Shoreline City on February 22nd, Jinga on the 28th, and then they still have a reschedule with Ole as well. So they have 3 games at home, Shoreline, Jinga, and Ole after this one in Detroit. And the way their season's been going, they've had a couple of tough results. I'd say the 2 tough results for them were the tie against Shoreline when they were up. I think they're up by 3 or 4 on 2 different occasions. Ended up tying that game in the first game of the year. And then they lost to Chicago House at home. And those are probably the 2 losses that were probably the most disappointing as far as how the games were going or how the teams have been playing. I mean, the first time Midwest faced Chicago, they won by 10, so to face them at home and lose has got to be disappointing for them. So the way the season has been going, I've said this before, but I still believe they have a very talented team. I mean, they've been to the FCS finals for 2 years in a row. It seems like they would be hungry to get back there and to win it this time, of course. But the way the season has gone has not been how they've wanted to. But they have 4 games at home, and I could see them getting hot and them just tearing through it. I think the toughest one, obviously, is going to be Ole at home. They did not have a good outing against Ole on the road, and so that's going to be tricky. But this game, if they win this and they come out and we see Midwest that we have seen at their best at different times in the FCS. I think that says a lot about how the rest of their season is going to go. If they come out to this one and it's a struggle, maybe it's a close win or loss, or maybe it's a draw, especially if it happens to be like a loss by 3 or 4 or more goals, I think that it's going to be kind of alarms blazing for Midwest. Even though the next 3 are still at home, it's not good news. I think their best, they're at 7 points. They still need to get, I think a win puts them in the playoffs for sure. Yeah, because it gets them above Jinga and would also get them above Chicago House. So they just need one win to get in the playoffs. I feel like it'd be a tough scenario to think that they would lose all the rest of their games, which Chicago House is hoping for, along with their own win would help get them in a playoff position. But we'll talk more about the playoffs. I just think this is a really big game for Midwest because I think the way their season has gone so far, I think they need a solid victory in a game like this. And if they don't, it's like, okay, the next game becomes one they need a solid victory in, and you're just losing, at that point you're starting to lose your chances for it. So I think this is a really big one for them. For Detroit Imperial, it's their second to last game. They still could get the number 2 seed and get a playoff bye, but I think more so you're playing for home court advantage to try to solidify that. Can you get into the top 4 for sure by the end of the season? On a win here puts them at 18 points at 6-3, and I believe that puts them in a very good position to be at least the 3 seed. If Lansing were to tie them in points, they have the tiebreaker in the head-to-head, so that helps them there. Jinga have some tough games to play. They still have to play. I think they play Midwest and Olay, and I think they might play Shoreline as well. So I think this is a really important game for Detroit because if you win, I think you have a very, very good shot that you are going to host a playoff game. Even if you aren't able to make it to that number 2 seed, you will be able to host the quarterfinal. So that's what's going on this Sunday at 6 p.m. Very excited for that. How's the playoff picture shaping up? So we've talked about it over the course of these games that we're mentioning here, but let's just take a little bit more of a look at it here. Starting with, we'll just throw this up here for you guys. This is the current playoff picture. Of course, the top 6 advance, top 2 get a bye. The higher seed will host, and the finals will be at the Lansing City Arena. So 3 teams so far have officially clinched. That's Olay, Shoreline, and Detroit. And if we did all the calculations right, that is all that have officially clinched. We still have Lansing City, Jinga, and Midwest currently in those final 3 spots, and Chicago Innovation on the outside looking in. One of the reasons why I think the Chicago Innovation game is very interesting this weekend is it seems I can't actually remember if I went through all of these scenarios, but I believe that not both of them can get in. Because I think if Chicago loses, I think they are out. And then if Innovation loses, they can max out at 9 points, which means they could tie Jinga, or they could get ahead of Midwest if Midwest loses all the rest of the games. So Chicago House, I think Chicago House has to win in order to stay alive. Innovation City don't have to win, but if they don't, they're going to be looking for Midwest to do poorly in their final 4 matches, as well as Jinga to lose the rest of their matches. If they end up tying on points with Jinga, they'll have to make up what's currently a 35-goal differential right now. So that's how that piece is shaping up. Much more likely that one or the other would be able to get in. At this point, it's the more likely question is what the seeding is going to be. As we mentioned before, I think Olay is definitely going to get that first spot. Shoreline in a great position for the 2nd seed, but they still have games to finish out here. Let's check what their next games are. Shoreline will be facing Jinga away, Midwest away, and then they will be hosting Lansing City. So not a walk in the park by any means, but that is how they finish their season. They've given themselves the position to kind of have have it in their own destiny. If they win out, they should get that number 2 seed at a minimum. And Imperial, like I said, I think it's really this weekend I think is a big game for them. What do they have next? I think it's just Olay after this one. Yeah, so after Midwest, all they have remaining is home against Olay. Obviously, Olay, a very tough opponent. They face them to a 4-0 loss away with a couple of red cards in that game as well. So they'll be welcoming them home, and I'm sure this is, I think when I was talking with Coach Pierce Brannigan about playing Olay, this is definitely one of the games that Imperial circle. It's one of the games that they get very excited for, and so that they are preparing for that and have been already. But for Imperial, I think one of the reasons why this is a big one this weekend, if they lose, then they're at 5-4. And in order to stay above 500, they have to beat Olay at home. If they do, they can improve to 6-4, and that's a likely scenario that they would get the 3 seed unless Midwest has a storming run, which they could, 4 games at home. If they don't and they end up at 5-5, Lansing City is the one that is right beneath them. Lansing City plays Innovation at home and Shoreline on the road. I think it's very reasonable to think that Lansing City will be looking at that Shoreline game will probably be a really big one, which, by the way, I think it's like a whole day of games. I don't think we're going to be able to stream all of them, but I think the youth are playing and the women are playing and the men are playing. So a really, really fun day there in February for Shoreline City and Lansing City in Muskegon. So Imperial, they have the tiebreaker on Lansing City, which really helps them. So if they end up tied with points, they have the head-to-head. But with each having 2 games left, I think each game is obviously of huge importance, and this one on Sunday is a big one. For Jinga, they're sitting at 5th place right now. They have 9 points, and if I remember correctly, they have a really tough road upcoming. They play Shoreline at home, Olay at home, and Midwest. So 3 teams that we've seen a lot of talent from. And they have 9 points right now. They do, the thing that is really good for Jinga is that they do have the tiebreaker with Chicago House. So if Chicago House were to get this last win, on Saturday, Jinga would still be safe from them getting in because they would have the tiebreaker. And then as well for Innovation, if Innovation also get to 9 points, Jinga split games with them. But they are currently ahead by a fair amount of goals in the goal differential. So Jinga actually in a pretty good spot as far as not being in a whole lot of danger to miss the playoffs. And we're at that time of the year where we're going to throw that up one more time. But we're at that time of the year where every game is huge, and especially huge when it comes to home court advantage, getting a first-round bye, and the way it goes, of course, off of points first, and then the head-to-head match, and then the next differential, the next deciding tiebreaker, that's the word I'm looking for, is goal differential. So that's going to be how the seeding is determined. We are getting into that time of the season where the games are getting really exciting. I mentioned February 28th earlier. This could be a day that decides a whole lot. Let's take a look at it. February 28th, in a couple of weeks' time, Midwest hosts Jinga, Shoreline hosts Lansing City, and Imperial host Olay. That is your Saturday, February 28th. It's going to be wrapping up the majority of the games for the FCS on that day. Wow, we are getting to a very exciting time here in the FCS. And we have one other thing to add on to it. This weekend, the FCS Futures is back in action. There will be several games streamed right to the website at futsalchampionseries.com if you want to catch the futures in action. The games will also be uploaded to YouTube later on, and that is going on this Saturday, starting right around 11 a.m. all the way until the end of the day, 9 p.m. or so is probably when the last game will happen. So we are heating up in the FCS, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be a fun last few weeks. The FCS Finals is only a month and a half away. The FCS Finals, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for tuning in to the third half tonight. I've been Jared Kleppel. Again, if you missed that portion with Fabio Hinojosa, make sure you go back and check it out. It was great. great fun talking with him and hearing about his experience growing up in Bolivia and now playing futsal for Innovation City. That does it. We will see you guys on Saturday and Sunday for Futsal Champions Series action. Good night.
The attack.
Kleppel now with it. Space inside. Shot. He finds the back of the net. Lansing City up by 1.
We haven't said it yet this season, but what a rocket from Jeremy Kleppel across.
Lyle turning his back, trying to get in front of it and also protect himself as Kleppel finds the side net and gives Lansing.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Going to the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skills.